This is looking at questions 5 to 8 on the Foundation Maths paper 2019 and the summer questions. There are 18 marks available for this question, and if you look overall, you actually only need 20 marks from the both papers to get your G grade. So 18 marks would mean that you'd only need 2 more before you've graded. So the first question we've got is write 481.627 to 2 correct decimal places. The first thing we need to identify is what are 2 decimal places. So these are the first 2 numbers that come after the dot. Now you'll notice that there's a 7 next to them. This 7 is important because it allows us if we need to round up or round down. So with the number 7, we know it's greater than 5. Any number that's greater than 5 means that we round up. So where we have 62 before, it's now becoming 63. But how we state this is 481.63. So we say them as separate numbers. Next question we got is 8 squared. 8 squared, well, that little 2 means it's a square number, which means it's multiplying by itself. So 8 times 8 gives us 64. Write down the value of the square root of 49. Square root is the reverse of square numbers. So what was the number multiplied by itself that gave us 49? Well, if we think to our times tables, you'll know that 7 times 7 gives you 49. So the square root of 49 will be 7. And the last question we've got here, the first thing I want you to do is write out all of your number without the dot. Now, you might remember back in primary where you would have moved the dot across. So imagine it's like little bunny hops. Because it's dividing by 1,000, we've got 3 lots we need to go by. So I'm starting between the 8 and the 2, and I'm going 1, 2. Now I haven't got a number to jump, so I'm going to put a 0 there. 3. So my dot needs to go here. Now it's optional, but add a 0 if you want to. It's just a placeholder at this point. So you've got 1 mark for each of these questions. The main thing was that is you didn't include a 0 at the end of your number on the first one, and making sure that you show the answer is just 7, not 7 times 7. So I'm hoping you've got a chance to look at this question. So if you do need to pause the video, just pause it so you can have a look and read and have a go at doing it yourself, and then unpause it when you're ready to answer. The first question is looking at what is the modal sport? Well, the modal sport, that means the most. So what happens the most here? Now, we can see that football has the largest part, so we're going to write just straight up football. Nothing else is needed, just the word football. So one person is chosen at random. What's the probability? So this means it wants it as a fraction of how many people are swimming as their favourite sport. Well, if we look at swimming, think of it, know that football is half of your people. So swimming has got to be half of a half, and we say that's a quarter. So you might have heard that term before. So a quarter of the people chose swimming as their favourite sport. That means we also know a quarter chose tennis. Now the last question says how many people. I find it difficult to write by there. Let me just rub this bit out because it's difficult to write on that bit. So if a quarter people said tennis, we've got to times it by how many people we had. Now we had 60 people, so a quarter times 60, well, that's the same as 60 divided by 4, which some of you will remember you can use your bus stop. So 60 and 4 on the end. So how many 4s go into 6? Well, I've got 1 load of 4 and I've got 2 left over because 4 plus 2 gives me 6. How many 4s go into 20? Well, there is 5. So our answer should be 15. So we know there's 15 people to play tennis. They're the same, so I know there's also 15 people that do swimming. 15 and 15 is 30, so I've also got 30 left over to add it to my whole 60. I have done that for a reason because we're going to need that for the next bit of the question. So just showing where the marks are here. So you've got 1 mark for football, 1 mark for 0 1/4 or equivalent. What equivalent means is that if you wrote 0.25, that would have also been accepted, or 25%. The last part here is a quarter of 60. That gave you 1 mark. And for the second mark, you've got for the number 15. So using that information, remember swimming was 30, football and tennis were 15. We have to draw a bar chart. So the first thing about bar chart is your axes. So I've already written those in. So I've written my axes, so that goes along the side where I've got my numbers. I've gone up in 2s because I realised I couldn't go up in 1s. And then along the bottom, I've got football, swimming and tennis. Okay, so we knew football was the most, didn't we? And just given an overall. Now I've got all my axes, I can think of the word then, and I've got my title. I can put my bar charts in. Each bar chart has to be spaced with a gap, okay, and they have to be equally sized. So as you can see here, they're all equally sized. My first one goes up to 30, whereas the other two are 15 each, so it's halfway between 14 and 16. And here's the marks. So we get 1 for correctly labelled, uniform scale starting from 0, which we've got, and correct equal bars were for football, swimming, and tennis. And there we go. Question 7. So in this question, have a read of it, pause it if you need to, and then unpause it when you're ready to start. So we need to work out how many small rectangles fill into the large rectangle. I'm going to call them A and B. So rectangle A. First thing I'm going to do is work out the area of it. To find area, we times, so 4 times 2, that gives me 8 centimetres squared. Rectangle B, doing the same thing. 20 times 6, and that will give me 2 times 6 is 12, times that by 10, so 120 centimetres squared. Now, if we're looking at how many of these small squares fit into the large square, we need to divide, okay? Because imagine we're finding how many of them are going in. So we're going to do B divided by A to get our how many rectangles. Yeah. So we have 120 divided by 8. Use your best stop. So 120, 8 on the outside. How many 8s go into 1? 0. How many 8s go into 12? Remembering to carry a 1 over. That will give me 1, and there's 4 left over. How many 8s go into 40? Well, there's 5. And you might notice on this paper, you needed to know your 8 times table. So if that's something that you struggle with, really just get used to writing it around the house, put some sticky notes, because they are asking for the 8 times table a lot. And when you get into your paper, maybe write that down the side of your paper somewhere, just so you've got it to go back to. Okay, so there was 3 marks here. Let me say 15 rectangles actually before I go for that. So I got a mark, so I did the alternate method, but you could have done either. So they got other options here. So I needed to show that 8 centimetres squared, which I've done, 120 centimetres squared, which I've done, and 8 divided by, 120 divided by 8, which I've done, and shown that there's 15. So I need to present it in a structured way, which I have, and I've done step by step of what I've done, and I've written a nice little conclusion to say there's 15 rectangles. Last question. Again, pause if you need to. So we've got 8p minus 12p plus 9p. A lot of people really struggle with negative numbers. So what I'm going to first do is I'm doing 8p minus 12p. Just going to take the first part. So I'm going to go down 12. So 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. That should be 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I'm at minus 4. So I can write that in. And the p is still there. It doesn't disappear. Now I'm at minus 4p and I have to add 9p. So now I'm going to go back up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 5 is my answer. So I'm just taking it each part. And again, P stays there. Next one, you've got 6x equals 48. That means 6 times what gives us 48? Go up in your times tables. 6, 12, 18. Keep going until you get to 48. You should find that the missing answer is 8. So x equals 8. So again, I always tend to, where I've got a letter, put a little box because I feel like it's easier to see. But it's options, you could keep it as a y if you wanted to. So 32, take away something gives us 17. Well, I can rearrange that, okay? Because that's the same as me saying 32, take away 17 is equal to the box. So let's work that out. 2 take away 7, I can't do it. So I'm going to bring that to 2. 12 take away 7 gives me 5. 2 take away 1 gives me 15. So y equals 15. And the last question, he thinks of the number, he multiplies it by 4. So Tom's number, we don't know what it is at this moment in time. He times it by 4 and he gets 76. So again, I'm working backwards. I can go up in my 4 times tables, but that's going to take me a really long time. So the easiest way for this one is actually using your box method. So it's not box method, bus stop method, sorry. So how many 4s go into 7? Well, there's 1 4, but there's 3 left over. How many 4s go into 36? There's 9. So Tom is thinking of the number 19. And just double check. So A gave you 5p, B was 8, and II was 15, and C was 19. There was only 1 mark for each of those. So hopefully you had a good go and you were able to access this video and feel a little bit happier after seeing